my little party animals. hiphiprenee here today with a brand new video for you. So recently I was chatting with Sims, and I mentioned that I had been itching to build the town from Starde Valley despite it being an absolutely massive undertaking. P-Frog responded that Dr. Gluon had recently built all of Starde Valley, and I laughed saying that I saw Lil Simsy do it recently as well. And then we checked YouTube and found hundreds of versions of builds from or inspired by Starde Valley. Despite having a plethora of pop culture or real-life houses to choose from, there are a few specific locations that seem to get a little bit more attention from Sims builders. So today, we're going to take a look at the top 10 most common pop culture house recreations in The Sims. Before we start, quick disclaimer that I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing if you've built these houses before, just that they're popular. Number 1, Family Guy. We're starting off this list strong with a fan favorite. Family Guy has been around since before the Sims franchise even existed, and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. In the 20 plus years the show has been on the air, fans have come to love the yellow Cape Cod style house that the Griffins live in, and it's no surprise. The floor plans are available online, which makes it especially easy to recreate this house. There have been many channels and builders who took on the classic Family Guy house, and others who branched out to create the Clam, Quagmire's house, Joe's house, and even Cleveland's house. But that little yellow cape will hold a special place in our hearts for ease of building. Number 2, Bob's Burgers. Here we are with yet another cartoon. I think we're drawn to recreating cartoon houses in The Sims 4 because the graphics are inherently cartoony. It's easier to recreate a simplistic cartoon house than it is to replicate a real-life house, which usually has features that are not available in the game. The Bob's Burgers house has been a popular recreation, especially since we got Dine Out back in the day. It's a cute, colorful build that features a restaurant on the bottom floor, which you could absolutely make usable. This is one of those recreations that I will honestly never get tired of seeing, especially when people include the surrounding buildings and make it a whole block. Number 3, the Amityville Horror House. We're here, the only house on the list that I am absolutely 100% guilty of building. The Amityville Horror House was my first time on my channel that I dipped my toes into true crime. Instead of discussing any of the movies, I talked about what actually happened in the house, and I have so much respect for anyone who has built this one. The house looks different in the 70s versus now, it looks different in the original movie versus the remake, and the owners have had the iconic windows removed and replaced to get people to stay the fuck off their property. It's a tough house to find consistent references of, and it's perfect for a series of Halloween videos or gallery uploads that, every single Simmer does every single year. Number 4, the ship from Among Us. Among Us has been around for a long while, but it really picked up traction when we all realized we had to stay in our houses because of the plague. It was absolutely inevitable that we would take our love for Among Us into The Sims, from creating what we think the characters may look like, to beautiful basement silhouettes of the ship itself. I literally had this build almost done, only to see just before editing my video that at least 5 people had dropped speed builds on the same day I started editing. I guess it's true that the early crewmate gets the kill. Number 5, Starde Valley. Yes, I am equally as shocked that this one is not further up the list. The pixelated goodness is just too adorable for Simmers not to want to recreate. From the farmhouse on your own land, to Elliot's cabin, to the entire fucking town. People have done amazing things with the imagery of Starde Valley transposed into The Sims. For 2 games that share a lot of crossover in their fan base, it's really not that surprising. It's not quite as popular as it was a few years ago to build this precious little town, but Starde Valley has had lasting power, and it's never hard to find someone's recent take on the town or its buildings. Number 6, the Addams family house. Another Halloween house. This one I included because I find it hilarious to see the comments under these builds, because half of the people commenting are expecting the house from the original TV show, while all of us millennials are just foaming at the mouth for the house from the 1991 masterpiece of a movie starring Angelica Houston as my soulmate. These comments range from the innocent, "I expected the film version," to the angry, "That's not what this house looks like." And we all know how much I love a confused, angry person. This is the perfect house for builders to put down in Forgotten Hollow during spoopy season, and it's a straightforward enough build that it doesn't feel out of reach for the not Kate Emeralds of the world. I love you, Kate. Number 7. The Simpsons. And we're back to cartoons. This one isn't super surprising considering The Simpsons is the longest running scripted primetime series ever. I'll admit that I've seen one episode and it's not for me, but I can absolutely see why people would want to recreate this iconic Springfield home. It's an easy build to recreate, and with the Sims 4 and their cartoony graphics, it almost makes it seem like The Simpsons has got an upgrade. I haven't seen many of this house being made recently, but it seems to be one that's popular enough that you can always find a few recent videos or gallery uploads. And the good news is, since all of our skin tones are so fucking yellow, you can easily make the characters too. Number 8. Home Alone. There have been a few builds on this list perfect for Halloween, but we all know there's one famous house that we're gonna see everyone building around Christmas time, and that is Kevin McAllister's house from Home Alone. The house is iconic and we all know it. The best part is that there are a ton of blueprints, references, and photos to look at while building this red and green colonial-style monstrosity. I've seen dozens of versions of this house every Christmas, but I do have to ask why I haven't seen anyone use the tool mod to make a zipline from the attic to the treehouse. Somebody get on that. Number 9. Hogwarts. I know, we're all shocked that Hogwarts is not number 1. Hogwarts is one of, if not the most popular recreation known to Sims players. There are folks out there who have used entire worlds in The Sims to create everything from Harry Potter, from Diagon Alley to Privet Drive, Hagrid's Hut, and more, and each of these builds is more impressive than the last. But the simple reason why Hogwarts isn't number 1 on this list is the absolutely fucking insane skills you have to build this castle. I mean, it's huge, and it's detailed. There's not many good references on where things are located, so you have to watch the movies over and over, read the books over and over, and check out fan sites just to find out exactly where the Transfiguration classroom is. For the record, it is on the first floor, accessible by the middle courtyard. Number 10. Friends. We've come to the final build on this list. Friends. From Monica and Rachel's apartment to Central Perk. These builds are exceptionally popular with Simmers due to the sheer love most people have for Friends. I'll be honest in that I've never watched an episode of Friends, it's not my cup of tea personally, but I would be lying if I said I hadn't taken an interest in building or at least taking inspiration from some of these locations. The set design on Friends is some of the best I've seen, and again, it is a simple enough location with colors and styles that we already have in game, so it's not a terribly challenging build depending on how detailed you want to get. A simple search on YouTube for Sims 4 Friends Apartment turns up more videos than I care to count, and I don't dare to try to count the amount of gallery uploads with the same tag. And there you have it, the most commonly recreated pop culture builds in The Sims 4. Which of these builds have you tackled? Are there any famous builds you think that I missed? Don't forget to leave them in a comment below. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!